If I didn't have an abortion, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I know that I would have probably ended my own life.
Northern Ireland has a ban on abortion, even in cases of rape, incest, or fatal fetal anomalies. The only time it's allowed is when there's serious risk to the mother's life or her mental health. But with 75% of people in Northern Ireland supporting law change and 65% feeling it should no longer be criminalised, why is Northern Ireland one of the last countries in Europe still to have this ban?
How do you feel about the fact that women are having to travel to England in order to have this, you know, very harrowing experience in some cases?
It's terrible because it makes that already traumatizing experience so much worse and so much more difficult, and I just think it's horrible.
I think it's against God's law. It's a life, and it's, in my opinion, it's murder.
People feel very threatened by just even the subject itself, but it's a shame because there is such a strong necessity for it.
It's not a situation that anyone wants to be in. Knowing that something you've done is technically illegal in your country is heartbreaking. And I love Northern Ireland, and I think it's a great country that has so much to offer for so many people. But the way that we're treated as second-class citizens is ridiculous. Something that everyone else in the UK has had rights to for years. We have no say in the matter.
The Offence Against a Person Act gives the court the right to imprison a woman for having an abortion and taking control of her own body. But pro-abortion campaigners have taken this to Westminster, and they will not rest until abortion is made legal in Northern Ireland.
Even if we did have a functioning assembly, devolved assembly in Northern Ireland, it's not devolved assemblies that hold the power of human rights in the whole of the United Kingdom. It's Westminster, and Westminster have the responsibility to make sure our human rights aren't being breached in Northern Ireland.
What do you say to pro-life campaigners who believe that abortion is just not even an option?
There are rights, absolutely, that protect pregnancies and protect children before they're born, but those rights never, ever trump the right of the person who is carrying that pregnancy. This is about people who know the responsibility of being a mother and what it takes to bring a family into the world.
50 years ago, a decision at Westminster to introduce the 1967 Abortion Act means that 9 million babies have not been born in Great Britain. But in Northern Ireland, having made a different decision, 100,000 lives are being lived. Why would anyone want to change that?
Women feel that they have no other alternative other than terminate the life of their preborn child. So if we were more concerned as a society with the 2 lives that are in existence in every pregnancy, then more funding would be put into services to enable women to choose life, and that would mean that as a society abortion wouldn't be normalised.
But what about in the case of victims of rape or incest who have not chosen motherhood? What would you say to them?
I think, first of all, we have to question the default response, which is that abortion helps women. So we consider the impact of the pregnancy on the woman, and that's what the law in Northern Ireland does.
So first of all, could you start by telling us what the Christian faith says about abortion?
We believe that God created us in his image, so he imbued something in humanity that carries something of his image. So human life is to be protected and not taken lightly.
Do you feel it's just to bring a child into the world who may then go on to suffer?
I suppose for many people, suffering has no real purpose, and the kindest thing you can do is to end that life. In the Christian faith, we see purpose in suffering. It often brings people closer to God or closer to each other, and those who are vulnerable, who are dependent on someone else, there's something profoundly human in that. Doctors
are reluctant to perform abortions, even in a legal case, for fear of persecution. Is this true?
So we don't have a pathway for referral because that's not the primary aim. The primary aim is the management of the patient, not the termination of pregnancy. If a GP here is unclear as to how much information they can give with regards to accessing services within mainland Great Britain, the patient has to find that information out for themselves.
It's definitely the biggest decision you'd ever make in your life. You think about saying yes when you get engaged. You think about what university you're going to go to. That's nothing compared to this. This is life or death scenarios you're kind of dealing with here. And don't think that once you get an abortion, that's it. That will stay with you. But you need to do what's best for yourself because you are your #1 priority, and you need to be able to see past that.